All right. So it's saying I'm live. Can never tell with this stuff. All right. So again, a whiskey review. It's very early in the morning. Decided I'm going to do this. So this is something a little bit out of my ballpark. Generally, I just do scotches and bourbons for the most part. It's sort of what I gravitate towards. Generally don't go for Irish whiskeys, but we're going to be doing something a little special here as far as Irish whiskeys go. Put up my cheat notes here. This is all information into sort of scrounged from different sources. So we're doing Bushmills Black Bush. Bushmills has been around since they claim 1608. Jim Murray and some other people sort of poo-poo on that and say, nah, guys, it really was like 1700s when you started. But who really cares? So this is an blended Irish whiskey. 80% triple distilled single malt, like most Irish whiskeys, triple distilled. Matured for the most part in Oloroso sherry casks. Used to be for about 11 years. They've reformulated or redone something where now it's only 7 apparently. Then they marry that with the 20% grain whiskey to make up the rest of the whiskey. Interestingly enough, that's usually the reverse when it comes to Scottish blends. Usually it's much more grain whiskey than it is malt. Apparently some of the grain whiskey they use in this sometimes can be as old as about 18 years. So there you go. The grain whiskey will tend to give you sort of a grain alcohol, medicinal kind of taste, give you cereal taste, and the malt from the more unique pot still process that the Irish whiskeys use will tend to give you a spicy kick to it. There's definitely some Irish whiskeys out there that are kind of close to bourbons, really, in that regard. There's definitely some spiciness going on generally when you have something like that. And so, yeah, I've already said too much. So I don't expect anyone to be watching this early in the morning. Ooh, I poured myself a little too much, I think. But you can tell right away it's definitely darker than your typical Irish whiskey. The Oloroso sherry cask there, that high malt content in those sherry casks really pays off in that regard. Very nicely golden amber there. You look at it in the right angle, you get slightly orangish hue, kind of almost reddish hue. Okay, so sherry casks just totally dominate here. You get a nice, almost like a young, fruity red wine kind of taste. You get grape almost as like a separate note to that, strangely enough. Red grape. A little bit of slight orchard fruit thing there too. Maybe a little bit of apple, a little bit of pear. And a little bit of vanilla, maybe a tad touch of cereal grain in the back. Very nice and complex. Very, very good. There's no denying it. Just check to see if there's anyone in the chat. I don't think there is. No one's watching. Okay, that's good. So I don't have to worry about that shit. All right, so we're going to go right to the taste. Cheers. Mm. It's good. It's got a little bit of warmth going down. Like I said, the pot still tends to give a little bit of a spicy character. You definitely get that in the back. Um, Nose pretty much translates right over to the taste on this one. A lot of sherry cask influence coming in here. You got that sort of wine grape character that dominates most of this. You get a little bit of, again, orchard. Jesus, I can't speak. Orchard fruit. A little bit of apple, a little bit of a pear note. Vanilla and the wood come on a bit stronger in the finish, more pronounced in there in the nose. Mm. Good body to it too. I'd say like light medium body. Not super viscous or anything like that. It's very smooth, even though it's got some warmth and some spice to it. Apparently, the original Bushmills is even more smooth than this. Kind of like the difference between like Jim Beam White and Jim Beam Black or whatever, right? Um, mm, so easy to drink. Tastes really good. Got a nice bit of complexity to it. Definitely more than you might expect from an Irish whiskey, which tend to be, not to say that they're not complex, but they tend to be lighter and fruitier. The triple distillation kind of does that, kind of weakens a lot of the flavor characteristics. But here, this is right up there of any Scotch as far as a nice burst of flavor and just complexity. If they up the alcohol in this, like if you could get 46%, I imagine this would just be popping off. Like I'd easily give it an A plus if that was the case. I think there'd probably be a lot more going on. As it stands, though, it's really good. I think I'm going to sit this at a. You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go A minus on this. I like it a lot. It's really good stuff. I'm gonna be buying it again. Price at NSLC. Another key thing about this is the price is great no matter where you go for this. Pretty much. Maybe in the Netherlands it's not so good because they're taxed even worse than we are. But the alcohol taxes here don't seem to affect the price all that much. It seems to retail around the same price about everywhere you go. Oh, excuse me, everywhere you go. $30-ish basically is what I see everywhere you go looking for this stuff. $32.99 I paid for it at the NSLC. That might have been a sales price. I can't remember, but if that's the case, then it's only like $35 or something like that, which is more than acceptable. It makes it more expensive than, say, Johnny Walker Red at the same size, but definitely a lot less expensive than Johnny Walker Black at the same size. And I think it's just as good of a whiskey as Johnny Walker Black, just for different reasons. It's got a different taste profile, of course, and all that. Yeah, so A minus. Bushmills Black Bush. It's very, very good, very affordable. You probably could mix this with stuff. I don't know why you'd want to. It's perfectly good on its own. I would not put water in this. I imagine it might open up the fruitiness on this a little bit, but the body seems thin enough that at 40%, you probably don't want to dilute this at all. You probably don't want to risk that. It probably kind of crash the whiskey. So I wouldn't bother with that shit. Just have it straight. It's good. It's one of these classic ones that's so super affordable that everybody should have. If you have a bar, you should have this. At least one bottle of this on stock somewhere. Little mini bar or whatever. have this along with your Johnny Walker Black, or if it was my mini bar, it'd be next to the Lefroy or something along those lines. Well, and Johnny Walker Black as well. What am I saying? Of course. But yeah, I'm rambling now. I'm tired. I need to go to bed after I finish this. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later when I pick up some more whiskey.